Hey guys, I'm sitting here with Tim Myron from BLR. He is my go-to accountant, and like our other topics here, we're going to go straight into the questions. So we're going to be going through a number of topics here to educate you guys on some of the changes that this COVID-19 crisis has brought to the forefront. So Tim, if you can, tell me a little bit about some of the changes here with EI, employment insurance.
Sure. EI has been around forever. Not a ton of changes other than the waiting period is been waived, where you used to have to wait a week or two before you'd start getting paid if you were laid off. That's gone now. However, there's a ton of people applying for it, so there's kind of a delay that way, but they're doing the best they can. The other thing to know for anybody that's an employer that's laying people off, if it's a temporary layoff that lasts less than 13 weeks, you don't have to give them any termination pay. So it's not like if you have to send somebody home for a week or two, that it's going to cost you a whole bunch of money when you have to bring them back.
Gotcha. Good stuff. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward there. What about this? I think you said it was just recently released yesterday, the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit. Tell us what that's starting to look like.
Well, I don't know a ton yet because it just came out, but it's
Yep.
basically going to be EI for anybody who's not able to work or not able to make money who wouldn't otherwise qualify for EI because you didn't work enough or you were self-employed and you weren't paying
Yep.
into EI. Applications are going to start early in April. They're building a website because this thing's never existed before. It's going to pay about $2,000 a month for up to 4 months
Hmm.
for anybody who will qualify. Those details are still a little fuzzy. And then they've promised that once you've applied, you'll have the money in your bank account within 10 days. So that could be, 2 or 3 weeks from now for somebody to have the money actually in their pocket.
So that could be applied to someone who's self-employed, and employers and stuff like that.
Yep,
Who,
or
like you said,
people who are working as contractors instead of employees. Yeah, this is supposed to apply for anybody who doesn't qualify for EI that has been affected one way or another for this, which in today's world is a lot of our economy. So
yeah, very much so. Okay, another topic here is the tax payment deferrals. So I know you sent out some content on that to me the other day, and there's some things to be aware of, not just to take all these deferrals for free money or stuff. There's always a bit of a catch to them.
yeah, and there's some things that people might assume that aren't true. So there's been extensions to the tax filing deadline by a month. So people have an extra month to get their personal taxes filed. There are reasons maybe not to do that. Some of the things that aren't deferred are if you're self-employed, like a real estate agent, and you have an HST return. There's been no changes to the filing dates on those or when that money's due. So often we're doing that in conjunction with your personal tax return anyways. Um, Other reasons are if you're a family who gets child benefits or any other kind of government credit that already existed,
Yep.
the longer you wait to file your return, the less time there will be between when your return is filed and when those benefits reset, which is July 1st. So if you waited till the last possible day to file your return, which is now June 1st, not June 30th, that's also an important thing to think about. If you waited that last possible day, you might end up with a month where your child benefits didn't show up while they're processing your tax return. So if you can still and get your stuff to your accountant digitally, it probably makes sense to try.
About the business development bank and how I think they're supporting small business. Is that
Yeah,
is
so
that
that's
correct?
that's more money, not free money again, but the business development bank is meant for entrepreneurs only, so consumers can't go and apply. But if you have a business that's been around for 2 years, the government's released a whole bunch of money that the business development bank can loan. They've kind of come up with a cash flow loan that'll give you a whack a whole bunch of money, um, where you only have to pay interest for the first year, and then you pay back about 40% of the principal you borrowed in years 2 to 3, and then you owe the rest of it at the end of year number 3, with the idea that hopefully the money you've used, you've earned that back and business is back to normal 3 years from now. If you want to borrow $100,000 or less on that, you can just go to the Business Development Bank, bdc.ca's website, and apply online, upload a couple of documents. It's really quick and easy. If you need a bigger one than that, you got to go through an account manager. Again, it could probably all still be done digitally, but there's a couple more steps if the numbers are bigger. But the interest rate on that loan is like 3.3%. So it's
Okay.
really generous for borrowing. It's not free, but it's as close to free as borrowing money can get. So
And it's
if you're a
unsecured. Yeah,
business who needs that cash flow and you know that things are going to come back around, it's a great solution.
for unsecured debt, that's a great rate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And one other topic here is the temporary wage subsidy for employers.
So
Um,
this one is almost free money. So if you are going to continue working or you have to continue working or are still paying some staff or employees, because the owners can be an employee as well. The temporary wage subsidy will let you reduce the amount of payroll taxes you're paying to the government, to again free up some cash flow and make things easier for employers. So if, for example, you had a monthly payroll of $10,000 and the payroll taxes you withheld off of your staff would have been $4,000, you're now eligible to take 10% of the 10 grand, the gross wages, and deduct that from the 4,000 in payroll taxes you would have sent the government. And then you only have to send them 3. The employees still get their money all the same as usual. This doesn't really impact them directly, but then the company's basically gotten a 10% savings on any wages they pay, again, from March 18th to June 20th. And if you're using online payroll software, I've seen updates from almost all of the ones around Canada where maybe not for the first payroll that happened because nobody knew this was coming, but for anything that's happening starting next week, their payroll software should probably just calculate that automatically for you. There's no need to apply. The only requirements are you're a Canadian controlled company. So if you're a foreign company, you probably already know that. But for almost all of our clients, probably 98% of my clients would qualify for this. You just have to be a corporation is the only trick. So you can't be an unincorporated doctor who has a couple of staff. That doesn't apply. Unfortunately, a lot of accounting firms also don't apply, but we'll make do.
Yeah, very good. So it sounds like, with the exception of that last, a lot of applications and process to go through. So guys, reach out to a professional to support you getting through all of this, and use this downtime to be diligent with your business operations and make sure you're taking care of your employees throughout the process. I think everybody's got a few extra minutes on their hands right now. So, do the right thing here and focus on your businesses. I think we're going to wrap it up right there, Tim. I appreciate you coming online for this and sharing your insight with the people of social media here, I guess, and some of our mailing lists. And anybody have questions, reach out to us. I'll share some contact info for Tim and myself. So Tim, thanks a lot. Really do appreciate your time.
Always happy to help, bud.
Excellent.